Stewart here from Drone Film Guide, the channel where we learn to fly like filmmakers and take photographs and use action cameras, 360 cameras and do all kinds of cool stuff. Having said that, the opportunity for doing cool stuff has taken a bit of a back seat given that we are now quarantined in this apartment in Spain. I have a little bit more time on my hands now that we're not going to the beach and going to overpriced restaurants, so I'm going to spend as much time as possible making YouTube content. It's almost like a new lease of life for this channel, so if you're not following along, please do follow along. We've got a lot to talk about, and I think you'll enjoy being part of our community. Speaking of which, 150 megapixel panoramas. Some of you were asking a while ago, what is our workflow for doing enormous panoramas? We take panoramas of panoramas. It's really quite cool, so I'm going to get into that now. Before we jump into the 6 steps, if we talk about gear, we're going to need something fairly beefy for this. The Mavic Mini, great though it is, will not cut the mustard. Welcome back, the Mavic 2 Pro, king of the prosumer drone, absolutely beautiful little beast. That's not getting flown anytime soon, but you know, I've got it there as a nice prop for the channel. We want raw photographs and we need the panorama functionality. More of that in a second. Step number 1, settings. Now we're going for professional panoramas here, so we want to shoot in RAW. We want maximum quality and maximum flexibility in post. As I'm going to explain to you, we're going to take panoramas and then stitch together panoramas in post. It will all make sense in a second, but the result of that is we must have the setting picked whereby we save the component parts of the panoramas that we are creating. So make sure you have that option ticked. Step number 2, shooting modes. In your photo shooting modes, scroll down to panorama and pick horizontal. This way, when you press the shutter button, instead of taking one photo like you normally would, if you were taking an aerial photo, the software gets the drone to take 9 photos, 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, and 3 across the bottom. This pretty much gives you a square coverage, which the software does stitch together and output a JPEG, but we are interested in those 9 component photos that we will then bring into Lightroom later on. Step number 3, camera settings. Unlike video, 99.9% of the time when you're taking aerial photos, the auto settings work perfectly, and especially when you're taking panoramas, I think it is the best option, so just go with auto. Step number 4, capture. Now if you think about it, when we showed you how to do panoramas with the Mavic Mini, a drone that doesn't even have a panorama function, all you have to do is take a whole series of photos with a bunch of overlap. One photo here, rotate the drone a little bit, another photo, rotate the drone, another photo, just leave loads of overlap, at least 50% I would say. There's no downside in leaving tons of overlap. And then you stitch them all together in post manually and you get a great panorama. Well, we are doing exactly the same here with the Mavic 2 Pro, only instead of taking a photo, we are taking a horizontal panorama, that series of 9 photos, and then we rotate and we take another horizontal panorama, and then we rotate and we take another horizontal panorama. If you do that 6 times, you're going to end up with 54 raw photographs that we then stitch together in post. And now you can see where we're going with this. This is how we get 150 megapixel panoramas. Time for a quick commercial break. After all, trips to Spain don't pay for themselves, do they? If you're also stuck inside, as I'm sure most of you probably are, you might want to learn something, build your skills. We have an 8-hour drone cinematography masterclass, a very established and successful product and very well regarded, if I may say so myself. We're on version 2, 8 hours of content taking you from drone owner to drone pilot to drone cinematographer. I almost forgot how to promote the damn thing, it's been so long. Second of all, if you prefer to read your content, then we have a free ebook, 37 drone tips to get you flying like a filmmaker. Download yourself a copy of that, a worthwhile and enjoyable read. And finally, something that I enjoy doing is editing photos, and Luminar 4, a really cool piece of photo editing software, is great fun in that respect with some cool tricks like sky replacement and all this kind of stuff. So you can have a bit of fun with that. That's one of the sponsors that we have here on the channel. So check out the links to all of those things in the description below. Step number 5, editing. Unlike the free auto stitch software that we showed you when we were doing Mavic Mini panoramas, we need something pretty serious for processing raw photographs, and 54 of them. So we're going to use Lightroom for this, Adobe's industry standard photo editing software. It does the job pretty well indeed. Import the 54 photos, select them all, right-click Photo Merge Panorama. Give it a bit of time and the preview will appear, and you can see the result there. Looks pretty good. There are some gaps, and in this instance you can use that slider there to fill in those gaps with Lightroom's content-aware fill technology. At the end of the day, this image is not optically perfect, so it doesn't really matter if we're stretching it out a little bit. I mean, if you just look at that road there, it is in fact straight, but obviously it's curved in that image. Click to create the panorama, and let me tell you, this will take some time. You are combining 54 raw photographs here, so go away, have a cup of tea, and come back when it's done. Look at that result. I think it's absolutely amazing. 25,714 pixels by 6,432 pixels. Well, I can't do the mental arithmetic in my head, so I'll put up on the screen the number of megapixels this image is, but it's absolutely enormous. Fun though that is, it's not always a good thing, so let's just do a little bit of a crop for a slightly more focused, balanced composition. Step number 6, finish up with some colour grading. In this instance it was very simple. All we did was just put a gradient mask on the bottom half of the image to raise the exposure a little bit, added some contrast and saturation, but that resulted in a very strong blue sky, so we just desaturated that sky and moved the colour a little bit from blue into teal because we had a very natural teal and orange combination in this image to begin with, so it seemed like the right thing to do. Done. I love finding new ways of maximising the potential of our equipment, and I think taking panoramas of panoramas falls into that category with the Mavic 2 Pro. Let me know what you think. Have you done that before yourself and got any good results? Do leave some comments below. Engage with us. We have a lovely community. Do be a part of it. As I say, don't forget to stay tuned. We're going to be pumping out content, hopefully, given that we are essentially locked up in our flat here in Spain. That being said, it's an opportunity to really grow this channel and take it to the next level, so follow along with us if you wish. We'd love to have you with us. Don't forget to check out some of the cool stuff that we have on the channel, and we will see you next time.